Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be unboxing the Manuscript Leonardt Copperplate and Shadow set. I'll also be showing you how I prep the nibs, how each nib creates different strokes, and I'll also be using gold poster color instead of traditional ink. So do stick around for that. I have done some calligraphy before in the past, but I am by no means an expert, and this is basically my first real decent quality dip pen set. And it's an affordable set, but with quite a decent quality, and I decided to try it even though some have mentioned that it's a bit difficult to use for beginners. So this set comes with a small metal vintage box, which is really pretty, and it's used to keep the nibs, and 5 different copperplate and shadow nibs, and a basic nib holder. So I am mainly a painter and not a calligrapher, but I like using ink in my drawings, and one of the main reasons I bought this set was also because you can use dip pens with watercolor, gouache, and acrylic, which would all clog up a fountain pen. So Manuscript is a family company with heritage in the pen trade since 1856. So it was originally founded in Birmingham as the Leonardt Co. So they definitely have lots of experience in making these pens, and that vintage look that they have for these products really makes me feel like I've gone back in time to the times when everything was slower and you were allowed to just write slowly and beautifully. So the first nib is a number 40 shorthand nib. It is a very flexible nib and it's blue in color. The second nib is a number 41 crown nib, and it's a fine nib suited to copperplate writing, and it has a bronze finish. The third one in the set is the number 111, and it's a point nib suitable for small copperplate writing. The fourth nib is more narrow, and it's the number 33, and it's a flexible nib for general writing and drawing use. The last nib looks quite different from the others, and it's the number 6 scroll, and it's ideal for drawing borders, posters, and also for bold writing. The box is really handy to keep all the nibs, and I think many people actually buy this set just because of this box, and I really can't blame them because it's really cool. I mean, it's so cool. Placing the nibs in the holder is pretty straightforward, so you just push the nib in at the place where there is a notch in the holder. You do want to be careful not to bend or break the nibs because these are quite delicate and flexible nibs. So if you use too much force when you put them in the holder or take them out, you might accidentally bend them like I did right there. So now I'll be showing you how I use this set of nibs with gold poster color. I'll be using this Daler-Rowney sketchbook, which has paper that is bleed proof, even though I won't be using ink. These are Sakura poster colors which have consistencies similar to gouache. Many people recommend prepping the nibs before use because they have a layer of oil protecting them. So if you don't remove the oil, ink won't stay or flow properly on the nib. However, just for the sake of this video, for the first nib, I won't be showing you the prepping because I won't be prepping it, and I will be showing you what happens if you don't prep the nib. I tried a few different consistencies for the poster color and it was too thick at first, so I gradually began adding more water as I got used to using it. At first I found it quite difficult to get the paint to flow, and I could only write like one letter before all the paint would run out, and then I would have to reload the nib again. But after I learned the right consistency for the poster color, which is quite watery, I did manage to write a few letters consecutively without reloading the nib. So let's prep this nib. I do know that people use alcohol wipes and they burn the nib with a lighter, but I didn't want to do those things, so I tried these wet wipes instead. And after wiping the nib, I just ran it under running water and dried it with a tissue paper. After using the wet wipe, it was much easier for me to coat the nib with paint. So after prepping, you should see that the paint kind of sticks more to the nib and it is easily coated, so the nib will hold more ink and or paint. The blue number 41 nib is really flexible, so the slightest change in pressure changes the thickness of the line. So it was really fun to experiment with this nib, and it was quite easy to also create these elegant and beautiful curves and swirls with this nib. So I prepped all the nibs with the same wet wipes. However, I didn't find this wet wipe adequate, so I will be using toothpaste to prep 2 of the nibs later on. Now let's move on to the number 41 nib, which is the crown nib. And this is almost as flexible as the blue one, but it does feel a little bit different. In fact, I think this is one of my favorite nibs in this set because it's really easy to use and it's not as scratchy as the other nibs. Variation of line thickness is very easy to do once you get used to it. As you can see, I still need a lot of practice, but it was really fun using this nib, so I think I'll be using this a lot from now on. So the number 33 looks narrower, but the tip is actually wider, plus it holds a lot of paint. This is also a flexible nib, and I can really see that it's great for more modern calligraphy instead of copperplate. And besides that, it's also really useful for drawing as well. I think this is also one of my favorite nibs out of the set because I don't have to keep reloading the paint, and it's really flexible, but it's not too delicate, so it's not scratchy at all, and I'm not worried that I'm going to break the nib. The fourth nib, or the number 111 EF, has the finest tip, and it's much less flexible than the previous ones. And this was the scratchiest one out of all of the nibs, and I really had a hard time trying to get the paint to flow properly. So for this one, I used toothpaste to prep the nib again. After prepping, I definitely could feel that the nib wasn't as oily and smooth as before, and the paint did stick to the nib better, and it did flow better after that. I could write only small letters with this nib, and it was all quite scratchy. So I will have to try this nib with ink later to see if it works better. The last nib is the scroll, and I decided to prep it with toothpaste first because it seemed like it was too smooth to hold paint. And surprisingly, it wasn't hard to get the paint to flow. In fact, it flowed really fast, and I could only get about one letter each time I loaded the pen. So this nib has a groove in the middle, so you can get two parallel lines with one stroke, which is pretty cool. I do think I need to experiment more with these pen nibs using ink or watercolor or gouache maybe, but that's for a future video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.